Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sex Ninja, and the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. And we're talking about NXT's Halloween Havoc Night 2 on Halloween. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. We got the Ecto One rolling up, bringing out Shotzi and Scarlett, who's our host for a bit, but not the whole show. And we started off with New Year's Day, this band rocking out to the song Hurts Like Hell. I've had a lot of fun with last week's Halloween Havoc, and I was like, I don't know how we're going to top last week, because last week was so much fun. Last week had, great matches, great moments, and was I wrong? We start this off with the tables, ladders, and scares match between the Creed brothers versus Angel and Humberto. Whew, talk about violent. I mean, just welts on backs and tables and chairs and ladders and crazy spots. Creed brothers for the win. Ivy, I feel like this was their swan song, their goodbye to the NXT universe, because they have officially debuted on the main roster, especially against Alpha Academy. And this match was a classic, in my opinion. Tables, ladders, and scares. Oh, my. Creed brothers for the win. Angel and Humberto are definitely reinventing themselves. Who they're not like the people that get the kiss camera and all that. They want to show that they can be violent. They can be vicious. They can be ruthless. And in this match, I believe they got that across. I really did enjoy this match, and just the way to start a show the whole time. And I'm watching this on the phone. I got my headphones on the whole time. I'm like, ow, ow, ooh, ow. And my daughter's like, no, Daddy, you're about to have a heart attack. I was like, what? No, I'm watching the Creed brothers take on Angel and Humberto. Oh, great match to start tonight, man. Shotzi and Scarlett are backstage with the Ouija board, and Dawn and Fire take over from here. And I like Dawn and Fire, so they bring the spookiness to NXT for night 2. Tiffany versus Fallon Henley didn't happen. Was supposed to be a match, but nope. Tiffany ambushes Fallon, and now Fallon's on the injury list for day-to-day injury, going forward. But Tiffany Stratton making a statement saying, "I'm back. Did you miss me?" North American Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus Nathan Frazier. Dominic's got mommy out there. Oh my God. This is why I like NXT Dominic Mysterio. Because they let him wrestle. They let him showcase what he can do in the ring, and not just somebody being a punching bag like he is on the main roster sometimes. Him and Nathan, I feel, has delivered a classic for this North American Championship in this match. Dominic Mysterio retains. Why? Because he has mommy there. Mommy is always there to protect him. But not only do we get a classic match with him and Nathan, Wes Lee is back, and he's gunning for that championship. He holds on to it. Dominic and mommy are not happy whatsoever. They're like, hey, that's his championship, but Wes Lee is back, and I am all for it. We have Chase, Duke, JC, Thea backstage. JC Jane and Thea Hell have their big women's tag team championship coming up. They got to get ready, and JC tells Chase, like, hey, you can return the favor because of me. You're the champion, so hopefully tonight. And Chase is like, no, you need to win it fair and square, kind of being a stick in the mud about this, but Jason's like, come on. And then when Thea and Duke come in, they're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, nothing. Then she looks at Chase like, come on, we need to get on the same page about this. And they walk off. Duke and Chase are standing there. And I like what Duke said. He goes, man, these things are amazing. I've been eating free lunch and free food all week. Holding the tag team championships. The family interrupts. The family wants the championship match and then some. So that's gonna be good too with that rematch. Fire and Dawn are backstage. They're dressed up as Ivy and Harley Quinn. A lot of costume changes. I got to give it to Shotzi and Scarlett, too, for all their costume changes last week. But we have Braun Breaker versus Mr. Stone. Of course, Braun Breaker for the win, but that wasn't the case. He was going to send Mr. Stone to the hospital, but guess who's back? Von Wagner with the Band-Aid on his head comes out to try to give Braun Breaker his receipt, to try to destroy him like what Braun did to Von Wagner. So this feud is heating up. I want to talk about this whole segment as a whole. Metaphor. Scooby Gang getting back the Heritage Cup from Tozawa in a haunted house. I will say all of this just so Tozawa can get a chance at that Heritage Cup next week on NXT. All of this, the spookies, the scares, everything, and zombie ghouls, whatever at the end, holding down Noam Dar and everything like that, giving Tozawa what he wants. You got to watch this whole thing. It's great. It's about 8 minutes or something of just pure silliness, but this was fun. Metaphor as the Scooby-Doo gang. Great stuff, man. I'm telling you, man, I was highly entertained with this. Women's Tag Team Championship match, and I'll tell you this. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven versus Jacy Jayne, Thea Hell. A little bit of a silly finish just because of Chase not being a game, a player, not helping out JC and everything like that because she wanted to cheat to win. But we got an actual women's tag team championship match here. Chelsea and Piper showing what they can do in that ring along with JC and Thea Hale. This is what I want more of. Not little squash matches with the tag team championships. I want to see actual tag team wrestling, and this is what we got out of this match. In my opinion, I don't know if anybody thinks I'm crazy, but this was damn good. Showcasing what Chelsea can actually do, what Piper can do, and JC and we already know what they can do. A little bit more of a free range, and I think that's why in NXT it's kind of I know on the main roster we have to we're superstars, we gotta entertain, we gotta do this, and once we'll get those banger of matches, but NXT I feel like focuses on it's about wrestling, professional wrestling, and a tag team championship match like this. Chelsea, Piper retained, but I was like, I want to see more of this. I want to see this Piper. I want to see this Chelsea go toe-to-toe with the best women's tag teams out there. So hats off. Great match. A little bit more of a tension between Jacy Jayne and Chase and everything like that. So Fire and Dawn are watching on. I think they are the next opponents because remember, they've been doing these packages of the tag team championships are cursed and this and that. So I think Chelsea and Piper's next opponents are going to be Fire and Dawn. And they were dressed up as Chucky and Tiffany, which was great. Lyra package, she's coming back next week. Huge win for her. Huge win for her country and everything like that. And her being on the news over there and everything. That's pretty awesome, man. That's fucking awesome. And what's funny is someone pointed out to me yeah, you were never the big Lyra fan. I was like, no, I really wasn't. And it took a moment, and it took certain matches to be okay, I can see it. Then she had her match with Becky Lynch, and I'm like, okay, she's the champ. Now let's see what the champ can do. Let's see how this run goes. Women's breakout final, Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice with Elektra Lopez outside. Basically helping, and Lola Vice gets the win. But I gotta say, for a finale to this tournament, this was pretty good. I thought Jordan was gonna go for the win all the way. I didn't think Lola Vice, but Lola Vice is gonna get a future championship. So Lyra, that's gonna be interesting. Great talents here, and I think these are the two that stood out the most, Jordan and Vice, and they gave us one hell of a finale to this women's breakout tournament. And now Lola's going to move on to the next step and get a championship match. So, we have more Fire and Alba. Then we get to the NXT championship. Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. And when I was watching this on my phone, I had to. I was just like, all right, I got to pause here. I got to watch this on the big screen, baby. I got to get the popcorn. I got to get all nice and baby oiled up. I mean, popcorn. Stay there, folks. Don't get dirty. No, I had to watch this on the big screen, and I'm glad I did because it was what I expected it to be, and I expected it to be a banger. I expected hits. I expected Ilya ruthlessness. Like it was definitely a match that I'm glad that I switched over and not watching it on the small screen because I was sitting here going back and forth in my chair. I'm like, and there's this one outside moment that Carmelo got Ilya, and he just spiked his head right into on the side of the ring, and I'm like, oh shit, like, so good. But I like the finish here. I like that Trick Williams comes out. He's got a pissed off look on his face, and Carmelo Hayes was like, woo, looked like he saw a ghost, and Vic Joseph saying like, is Trick looking at the person that attacked him? Has Carmelo Hayes, he got distracted by this moment, and he loses to Ilya Dragunov. Dragunov is still our champion, and we have this moment with Trick slowly getting into the ring and goes up and picks Carmelo Hayes up quick. Are they friends? Are they enemies? Is he looking at his attacker and everything like that? And then right in the moment, I'm like, what's going to happen? And Vic Joseph was like, something's going on in the back. I'm like, what? And then we cut to the back. Baron Corbin has attacked Ilya Dragunov, and he tells Ilya, screaming at him, I told you, keep your head on the swivel. Keep your head on the swivel because you never know who's coming after you. And we end the show like that, where it's like cliffhanger for Trick and Carmelo, cliffhanger with Ilya Dragunov and Baron Corbin. Great television. NXT, Halloween Havoc, Night 2. We even had a nice little interview with Lexus King. What's next? He says he has some things going on in motion. And what a hell of a night. A solid 5 out of 5, man. I would love to watch these shows back to back. They need to turn these into pay-per-views or something like that. But, man, I had a great time. Favorite match of the night is the Creed brothers versus Angel and Humberto. I gotta say, equal to that though is the NXT Championship: Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Dominic Mysterio, Nathan Frazier, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven versus Chasey Jane, Athea Hell. It was all good, man, and I'm glad too we're getting Tiffany back on track to be who she is. So. And you watch the Metaphor Scooby-Doo thing with Tozawa. That shit's great, man. That's some good stuff right there. And check out New Year's Day. I've been checking out more of their music ever since last week. So they're rocking. They're rocking. They're popping. That's it. That's all. NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2. Vic Joseph, Booker T on commentary. In the bag. 5. I give it a 5. A solid 5 out of 5, man. Check out the show. Even check last week's show. Bangers. 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 I've had one hell of a week, too, with wrestling. All right, y'all. Drop those comments below. Tell me what you thought of the show. What did you like? What did you not like? What made you happy and what made you not happy? So, are you excited for Baron Corbin versus Ilya Dragunov again? Are we excited for that? So, we shall see. Drop those comments below. Let's talk. We're pro wrestling fans here, folks. I am KMB the Sexy Ninja. Like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/New World Podcast. Get that sweet nWp logo created by Penta X. He's got some music on the way and a beautiful tribute to Bray Wyatt. It's going to be a dope song. It's going to be a dope song. All right, y'all. And remember, the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
The NXT North American Champion.
Big stand up.
Dominant.